ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lady Star of this Stream Social Centre, where tonight we will be performing our murder mystery play, Killed the Headmaster. But first, a few short administration duties. Could I please ask you to switch all mobile phones off or switch to silent? As it is very important you are not distracted when listening to the clues given by the actors. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow our instructions and exit the hall quietly by the nearest marked exits towards the stage, which we have over there, and the entrance hall and out into the car park. The hot pot supper will be served in the break after Act 2, and you will be invited by table to be served on presentation of a ticket. There is a raffle this evening, £1 a strip, and tickets will be on sale throughout the evening. The raffle will be drawn during the break after Act 2. Tonight you will witness a short play in 3 acts. There will be a short break between Acts 1 and 2 for you to discuss the clues with your team. At the end of Act 2, your team will complete and submit the whodunit sheets with your final answers as to who you think the murderers are. Once the answer sheets have been collected and we have judged them, Act 3 will be enacted and the culprits revealed. I shall announce the winners of tonight's competition at the end of the evening. During the performances, the actors will be reading from their scripts. It would have been nice to have learnt them, but as you will appreciate with exams, reports, cover lessons, lesson planning, SATs preparation, duties and parents' evenings, time could be a little scarce, so please forgive us. The play is set in 1937, but please don't judge us on historical accuracy. This is a piece of drama, not an authentic piece of history. Finally, if you return to your murder mystery pack, we just need to make sure that everyone has the required documents. Each team should have a whodunit sheet. This is the main answer sheet. On this, you will write down your solution to the brutal murder you are about to witness. You'll notice, crucially, that there's one person who committed the murder, but you will also have to identify another person that the murderer is in collusion with. Thus, you will have to identify 2 people, both the murderer and their accomplice. In case more than one team achieves this correctly, winning team will be based on the relevance of your explanation. There's space underneath for you to show how you arrived at the solution. I suppose a maths teacher would say, you'll need to show your working out. Quite important for this because it might decide who's the winner. In addition to the whodunit sheet, there's also a comedy answer sheet. The prize will be awarded for the funniest solution to tonight's puzzle. This may only very loosely be connected with the play you're going to see, and it will not affect your main answer. Be as imaginative and witty as you like, but keep it clean. You also have a characters sheet to remind you the name of each of the suspects. Finally, a further mystery murder quiz. Fill in the quiz sheets at your leisure and hold on to them, as they will also be marked at the end of Act 2. Now, sorry there was so much to concentrate on, but we're now ready for the off. Excuse me. So, settle down, eyes front, stop chewing gum, and don't drop it on the floor. Sit straight up, remember to write clearly and legibly. And, I shall say this only once, please put your name on the top of every sheet of paper. Probably best to do it now. Thank you, and may the best team win. Ladies and gentlemen, I now introduce you to your players.
evening. My name is Montgomery Rex, and I am the proud headmaster of this fine educational establishment. Berrigan Tuft Private School for Young Gentlemen opened in 1843 and has been providing quality education ever since. I've always enjoyed teaching. Unfortunately, being a headmaster involves more than just teaching. I'm doing my best, but the job is getting on top of me. I'm under tremendous pressure to balance the school's finances, and the school governors, led by Colonel Martin Frobisher, are constantly on my back, looking over my shoulder. It's quite clear that he, and a number of others, would be happy to see the back of me.
Ophelia Rex, Montgomery's wife, and at my wit's end. Not much fun just sitting around waiting for old Grumpy Trot to pay me a bit of attention. He's always up in his office with Miss Lemon glued to his side. Great for him, but what about me? I'm sick and tired of just being the pretty wife at all these incessantly dull school functions. And I am expected to attend them all. Sports days, the chess tournament, dreary PTA functions, the badly acted school play. I mean, who could blame me for wanting to discover a little fun of my own? Philippa Lemon, Mr. Rex's personal secretary. I'm here to support Mr. Rex, and that's what I've been doing for the past 5 years. Some see Montgomery as an austere, frightening man, but he's also caring and tender, if you're lucky enough. He wants the best for all the young gentlemen who study here, and I'm here to help him achieve that aim. When Monty needs me, I'm here 110%.
Miss Barbara Forbes Marshall, Head of English and Teacher Governor of Berrigan Tuft School. Some would describe me as over-enthusiastic, over-sensitive, over-emotional. Yet how can one not get emotional reading the fine works of Dickens, Austen, and our beloved Shakespeare? Oh, I wandered lonely as a cloud. But can you blame me? We are, after all, talking about literature that burns itself into the very soul. Colonel Frobisher, the head of the governors, appointed me to the school last year to shake up the English department, and that's precisely what I've done. I care about this school. It's a shame that not all staff members share my opinion.
James Nigel Tonic, school caretaker, but that's about it really. Can't say I'm the cleverest, most learnedest person in the world, but I am good at shifting chairs. That seems to be the main part of my job. Move the chairs, James. There's a parents' evening. James, old chap, would you set the chairs out for that damned PTA function in the hall? James, my good man, we're interviewing for a new history master. Could you organise some lunch for the candidates, please? And set the chairs out in my office. I hate it here, but I shan't be doing this forever, that's for sure. I have my dreams, you know, but that's a secret. I like secrets.
Brute Savage, PT Master, Deputy Head, and also devilishly handsome. You might not be aware of it, but Berrigan Tuft School is going downhill fast. And I tell you why. Montgomery Rex. The man's an idiot. He's lost touch with reality. The boys here are getting away with murder. I even caught one young lad throwing a moustache onto Mr. Rex's photograph in the dining hall. Once I'd finished laughing, I came to the boy to within an inch of his life. Things would have never been so lax if Colonel Frobisher had got things right and appointed me as headmaster instead of him. But then Martin still has the chance to make up the past mistakes.
I'm Harry Smith. I teach science and chemistry. I've not been at Berrigan Tuft long, about 1 year to be precise. It's not been an easy year for me because I had unpleasant experience with the Van de Graaff generator. Mr. Rex had some very threatening words to say to me once the boy's hair started regrowing. I'm not very talkative. I prefer to be in my laboratory with my Bunsen burner and Petri dishes and organic samples. But my real work goes on unhindered. It's been a good year for me and I have improved. I hope they keep me on. I don't want to go back there. I can't go back there.
You have now been introduced to the suspects of tonight's foul deeds. One of them is a murderer, and another is his or her accomplice. Watch events very carefully as they unfold. Remember, clues are both spoken and visual, and not everyone will be telling the truth. I take you now to the scene of the crime, the headmaster's study. It's 12 noon on Friday, the 25th of July, 1937. With the boys away on holiday, preparations are being made for the next academic year.
But it's not as bad as you think. Yes, I know we're running at a loss. I know. But I know. Listen, you've interfered in the past. You appointed Miss Forbes marshal without my permission. Look, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave the running of the school to me. I know perfectly well that our budget is a few £100 out. But that's for me to sort out, not you. Yes, I know the governors are concerned about the situation, but what can I do? There simply aren't enough students to cover costs. Look, I've already made plans to let a member of staff go. Who? Now look, Colonel, I'm not sacking Harry Smith, and that's for definite. I know he's a waste of space, but he's a new teacher. He'll improve. That's why I hired him. And he's cheap. And besides, you know we have a trouble attracting scientists. I think our so-called handyman, James Tonic, would be an easier person to axe. I mean, what does he do anyway? We only took him on as a sympathy vote from the orphanage 5 years ago. 5 years of shoddy, inept work. It's him who has to go. I'd love to see the back of Brute Savage, but I don't think he'll go quietly. He's always undermining me. Yep, don't worry. I'll reevaluate the figures and resubmit the report. Where would you like me to put it? Mr. Frobisher, I resent that kind of comment to a man of my stature. And besides, I'm not sure they'll fit. Fine! Problems, problems, problems. I'm afraid so, Pepper. Thank goodness Colonel Frobisher doesn't know how in debt we really are. He mustn't find out the truth. It would be the death of me. I've kept the papers locked away from him in that filing cabinet. And only I have the key. I tell you, school governors are like a pack of vicious animals. He's demanding that I axe a member of staff. Much as I'd like to kick Bruce Savage into touch, the Colonel would never sanction it. Looks like one of the non-teaching employees will have to go.
Surely not. A non-teaching member of staff, you say?
Pippa, what a treasure you are. I wouldn't dream of letting you go. You're indispensable.
Oh, Monty, that sounds like
poetry on your lips.
Oh, thank you, my precious. No, you're the only thing that makes life at this dull old place worth putting up with. I say, that's an awfully big book you're reading.
It's nothing. I just take an interest in gardening, cultivating a few crops in our greenhouse.
Okay. So like you, my little rosebud, my little cherry blossom. Let me entwine you in my arms, my little sweet pea.
Monty, please remember what we agreed. Not in your office. You're a married man. We never know who might be around. If you want, I'll visit you later in our hiding place. French department storeroom.
Well, couldn't we just lock the doors in here, Monty? I have the keys right here. Actually, just listen to this. Smith, Montgomery Rex here. Harry, I need you in my office right now. I need a favour. I want you to use your supplies to make me one copy of the key to my study. This room. Yes, I know that's against what the Colonel's decreed. Listen, I am the headmaster of this school, and I want you up here immediately. You can carry on your research into the properties of arsenic later. My study key, the one to copy, is labelled study. If I'm not here, the whole bunch will be left on my desk. And get a move on. Incompetent idiot! How dare he question my decision? Look, Pepper, poppycock to school principals. I'm going to get you a special key. And made for this office, then we can both lock ourselves away from the world. With you, Pippa, I feel like I'm floating on air. Let me embrace you.
Monty, you really must control yourself. As you know, I'm scared of heights. So mustn't this limited on air?
I can't help myself, Pepper. You're such a breath of fresh air. I don't care anymore. Please. Yes, I think I can't see anything. I think it's probably come out. Hello, darling. I didn't see you there. Charging in like a rhinoceros.
Montgomery, get your coat. You promised to take me for lunch this afternoon.
Well, did I?
You know you did. 12:30 at the Palms. You suggested it. You promised. I told Miss Lemon to add it to your diary. Well, was it written down further?
No. Sorry, it's just that.
Oh, pathetic! Pathetic! Do you know, Pippa, I have to say this. You're absolutely useless! Useless! I've no idea why my husband keeps you on at all. I can think of no possible use my husband could have for a secretary. You're a pathetic excuse for a woman. You hear?
Ophelia, I will not have you talking to my personal secretary like that. Pippa, Miss Lemon, is a cherished, valuable asset to me and this school. It's just that this afternoon, unfortunately, I'm unable to make our lunch date because I promised to sort out the stock down in the French department storeroom.
You seem to be spending a lot of time down there all of a sudden. Can't it wait?
Well, I'm sure, Headmaster, that you could.
No, can't wait. We're desperate. Desperately short of dictionaries and baguettes and camembert and the like. Ophelia, darling, I will not let you come between my school activities and me. It would be highly unprofessional. I run Berrigan Toft. I'm Berrigan Toft. comes first.
Well, that's typical of you. There's always some excuse. The school timetable, the school meetings, the school budget, the school French department storeroom. I've just about had enough of this Montgomery Rex. Are you married to me or to Berrigan Tuft, school for private young gentlemen? I'm tired of being neglected. I need a man in my life, one I can trust and respect, one who's at least there from time to time. Sometimes I could murder you, I really could, just don't push me. Right, I'm going to the Palms to have my usual duck à l'orange for one, without a slice of lemon.
I'm sorry. Lottie, I didn't really want to call Celia. Perhaps she would.
Oh, don't be silly, sweet cheeks. She'll calm down, she always does. Besides, do you think I'm the only one involved in a complicated relationship? Why, I'm sorting out the French storeroom. And with you, she'll be in the gym with Brute Savage. Surely it's more than badminton is assisting her with behind locked doors. The man's an arrogant, pompous fiend. The day's coming when he's going to get exactly what's coming to him. Come on, darling. Let's go and brush up on our French. Yes, well, when I was down in Oxford, this is the way we used to waltz. It was a member of the ballroom society. It was, sorry. Miss Marshall, I didn't see you there. What do you want?
Finances, Mr. X.
Oh dear.
Do you expect my English department to run itself on fresh air? I know that you think maths and science are far more important for the boys at Berrigan Tuft, but may I tell you what a sexist, self-opinionated argument that is?
Well, Miss Thornton Marshall, that's not exactly
What
true.
is maths anyway? Just a lot of dull, lifeless squiggles. Where's the life, the colour, the poetry? Our young masters need room to breathe. They don't want to be bombarded with numbers. They want to skip through Keats's Mansfield Park, to lie down beside Wordsworth's Mill on the Floss, and to look at some bleak house or other. And for that, my department needs money.
No, I fully agree, Miss Marshall. It's just that...
Well, why don't you resource it properly? I mean, in my position as teacher/governor at this school, I have to say that I think your budget allocations are atrocious. And I happen to know that Colonel Frobisher agrees with me.
I'm sure you'll be keeping your good friend, the Colonel, informed of everything that's going on. You two are as thick as thieves. Look, Barbara...
Mr. Rex, we need books, plays, anthologies, fiction, pens, paper, rubber bands. I can't make a silk purse from a sow's ear. Was it Shakespeare who said that?
I don't know.
Yeah, and neither will anyone else unless you get rid of that useless science chap. What's his name? Smith?
I'm terribly sorry, darling. I mean, could you leave Miss Marshall and myself to ourselves for a minute?
Certainly. I'll go make us a nice cup of nice strong tea.
Marvellous. We'll have a quick cup of tea and then sort out our French homework. À bientôt.
I hope we'll see you soon, ma chérie.
Yes, now, look here, Miss Marshall. I resent the fact that you and the Colonel are ganging up to undermine me. You've only been at Berrigan Tuft for a year, and suddenly...
No, you look, Mr. X. The governors are not amused. The warm breath of literature must be allowed to flow through this failing establishment. You will dismiss Harry Smith, the new science master, or you might as well just try to throw yourself out this window onto the concrete below. Oh, even the window's not working properly. Oh, I can feel one of my migraines coming on. Sort it out, Mr. X.
What, the window?
Oh, no, you idiot! It's school! But I suppose the window would be a start. Well, go on, summon that dim-witted caretaker. Prove to me that you can do something useful.
Yeah, but I'll go see if I can try and locate that imbecile Tonic.
Tonic is anything but.
He'll be in his room, down the hall, play acting. I'll go and get him.
Please don't hurt me.
Oh, it's you, James. Oh, what are you doing sneaking up on people like that? You could get yourself hurt. Seriously hurt. But that far away from being... Oh, well then I don't cry. Oh, you poor thing. What are you doing here anyway?
Well, Mr. X just told me to come up here and fix the window, and then get back to move the chairs from the hall back into the shed for storage, while he has a cup of tea with Pips. I hate moving chairs, but I won't be doing this forever. I have other plans.
Listen, James. Did you see me looking through that folder on the desk? Let's just say that's our little secret. Things would be an awful lot safer for you if you didn't tell anyone. Promise?
I promise. I like secrets. I have lots of them.
What secrets do you have?
Well, when I was young, I liked to play at tea parties with my sister at the orphanage where we grew up. I liked serving food and dressing up. I don't like Mr. X, and he doesn't like me either. But that won't matter soon. Soon, I'll be away from here. Once I get enough money. If Mr. X takes my job away from me before then, I'll kill him! I need the money, you see. I nearly have enough. You see, I have a special dream.
Tell me about it, James.
I want to own my own ice cream shop. It's the future.
Oh, I've tried some myself when I was busy over in Europe.
You told a fraud.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Well, I've heard they use something scientific called dry ice to keep it frozen.
No, I wasn't aware. I recall sitting in St. Mark's Square, Venice, a cool glass and a long spoon, all tasted divine.
Italy, yes, exotic. Everybody eats it there, despite the political unrest. I've nearly got enough money for my own shop. I've saved up every penny I could. Some people think I'm stupid, but really, I'm clever. I've even bought my own uniform.
Really?
Yes, a proper ice cream seller's gown. I like to pretend when I'm not working. My shop's going to be an Italian ice cream shop called Frederico's. Say, I'm Miss Fox Marshall. Would you like a scoop of the tasty review?
Not really, thank you.
I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. Have some of my ice cream. Now.
I'm not sure that I like your tone of voice, Tonic. I think it's time for me to leave. You don't want to speak to me like that to someone like me.
Sorry. Look, I've gone and told you my secret now. You won't tell anyone, will you?
Of course I won't. We've both just had a little game, that's all.
I like playing games.
Well, I'm leaving now. So you mend that window and we'll say no more.
Yes. Goodbye, Miss Fox Marshall.
Goodbye, James.
Right. I ought to do it. Back to my chair.
I don't believe it. Rexy's finally left his precious office unlocked. Surely the deputy head should have a set of keys to the whole school. Why he feels he can't trust me, I find an insult.
But we all have ghastly things to hide away, Brute. Especially head teachers.
True enough. Anyway, the cautious fool has finally made a big mistake. His keys are on the desk, and the filing cabinet is unlocked too. This could be my lucky day.
Our lucky day, Brute.
Yes, of course, I mean our lucky day.
Oh, Brute, this is so exciting. It's all starting to fall into place. You can find what you're looking for, and then we can be a proper couple. I feel our secret romance is really starting to blossom.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say that. Look, Fifi, all of this is a little too risky right now. You're a married woman after all. Let's just collect the evidence we hoped for, then we can retire for a game of badminton in the gym. Rexy could be back any second.
You won't. Montgomery thinks I've gone off to the Palms for my weekly dinner for one. He'll be cavorting with that brazen personal secretary of his. Every time I think of lemon, I get a sour taste in my mouth. He thinks we don't know.
Oh, Fifi, you are naughty.
Oh, Brute, come here and hug me.
Steady on, Fifi. We have the rest of our lives to squander with meaningless shows of affection. Besides, I don't want to crease my outfit. It's awfully stuffy in here all of a sudden. I think I'll go open the window a fraction.
Oh, Brute, I can't wait until the time we can be together, when we get married.
And I'll be the headmaster of Berrigan Tough Private School for young gentlemen.
And we could start a family.
And I'll be the headmaster of Berrigan Tough Private School.
Tell me, Brute, when will it be? I don't think I can live another day with that crashing bore.
Very soon, my sweet, very soon. I promise, it won't be long before I'll have dealt with him good and proper. Montgomery Rex is going to get exactly what's coming to him. I'm not the only one to want him out of the way either. Now let's see what we can find. Ah yes, this should do very nicely. Martin, it's Brute. Get to Berrigan Tough School as soon as possible. I have something important to arrange, and I can't do it alone. Something serious, the answer to our prayers. See you shortly. Now what I need you to do is to find Rexy immediately, and make sure he steps in here, in this office. Out of the way. Promise me you'll do that for me, Fifi, darling.
For you, I'd give my life. Oh, Brute, when do you think we can get married and be like a proper couple? You do find me attractive, don't you?
Never mind all that nonsense. Just make sure Rexy's in here this afternoon.
Of course. I'll go to the gym and then change for badders. Now, what about a cuddle from the rugged PT master?
Later, Fifi. I want to do something thinking first. This has got to be done properly and quickly. I want to be the new head by the start of the next school year. Things have got to be done according to plan. Come on, thieves. It's time to put our plans in action.
Oh, Brute, must we? Montgomery won't be back for some time. And you do look so devilishly handsome today.
Well spotted, Fifi. But if you want us to be together, you must do exactly as I say. You do trust me, don't you?
Of course I do.
Well, hurry. Time is important.
Where is it? Where is it? It must be somewhere. Oh. Where can it be? 999! Where can it be? Please. Ah! Don't hurt me, Mr. Savage. Don't hurt me, please.
Well,
please.
well. What have we here? I smell a rat caught in a big fat trap.
Please don't hurt me.
And why ever not?
Because they find me, they're after me, and they find me eventually. Please, you really don't want to do that.
Why would I want to do that anyway? Despite being a deputy head, I'm not an aggressive man. Mr. Smith, it's just that you startled us. While we were checking to see if there was a mouse in here. Did you see it in here, Mr. Smith?
No, I did not. I did not even see the rat.
Did you see anyone in here, Mr. Smith?
No, I didn't.
Good. Well, you'd better leave then. Not returning those keys I saw you steal from Rexy's desk?
No. Mr. Rex asked me to make a copy of these keys to to this room. I told him the Colonel forbade the copying of any keys, but he insisted. I don't want to get into trouble. I've risked my job for you like that before.
I'll speak to the Colonel for you, Harry. Don't worry. And while you're doing that, you can make me a copy too. Plus, a duplicate key to his filing cabinet as well. Do it for me in the same way that you copied the gym key for me last month. Understood?
You know I'm not happy with this. Just promise me secrecy.
Cross my heart and hope to die. Actually, Harry, I also saw that you were taking an interest in the filing cabinet yourself. What were you looking for? A document?
Yes, I was. I'm frightened, you see. I'm frightened. Someone might find out. I don't want to go back. I shouldn't have run away, but I had no choice. They're after me, Mr. Savage. Mr. Rex has got proof. He could send me back. I think he wants to get rid of me. Please, help me.
Actually, Mr. Smith, perhaps we could come to some sort of an arrangement. I'm very good with documents. When I'm headmaster, I'll be very sympathetic to your cause. If you neglect to mention seeing Mrs. Rex and myself in here this afternoon, of course. Play by my rules, and I'll make sure that your contract becomes permanent. You see, once Colonel Frobisher and myself have had a little chat later this afternoon. Relax, Harry, calm down. Once Martin and myself have had a little chat, I think you'll find I'll be in a strong position here at Berrigan Top, and that Rexy will be out of our way. But I also need you to do something else for me. I need you to take all your laboratory supplies and put them in my quarters immediately. Do you understand?
How do you expect me to copy the keys without the...
I said immediately.
Yes, sir.
Good. But just to make sure, I'll take a little insurance.
Oh, no.
Now settle down, students. Headmaster Savage, that has a certain ring to it. As new headmaster of this school, I want you to realise that any miscreant behaviour will be punishable by...
I'm getting there, I think. A little bit of a cough. Dear me. Well, there we go. Well, I see Smith's taken the keys, and I hand to seal tonic. He's freed up the window. Smoothing as smooth as silk. Mending that will be the last time Tonic does anything at Berrigan Toft. I hope so. He's been a burden here for the past 5 years. It's him, and then it's Brute Savage who'll find that there's always a price to pay. Well, who on earth does Savage think he is, anyway? I'm aware that all games teachers like to show off, but that man picks the biscuit. He's a pompous swine.
What is the chilly in here? Is it supposed to be?
Certainly. Now then, Miss Lemon. Well, he's mended the window somehow. That's it. Now then, Miss Lemon. How about a little squeeze in the French department?
That sounds delectable.
This is going to be an afternoon to remember. Cheers.
Cheers.
And indeed, it was an afternoon to remember, but not for the reasons Montgomery Rex was anticipating. 2 hours later, Berrigan Toft's headmaster was found slumped at his desk, dead. At the time Monty was discovered, the study door had strangely been locked from the inside. Crucially, a set of keys was left dangling on the inside of the lock. Our characters gasped in horror as brute savage barged the door open to reveal an awful sight. There, for all to see, was Montgomery Rex, slumped over his desk, dead. The cause of death, strangulation. This ribbon was found wrapped around his neck. The window at the back of the room had been left open. Panicked, Bruce Savage telephoned the police.
Help, police! There's a headmaster slumped over in his office at Berrigan Top, and I think he's dead.
And it was Detective Inspector November who arrived later that same afternoon to unravel this particularly gruesome and challenging crime. Indeed, the revered inspector will be here after all you've had a 10-minute breather. Let's all have a breather. Indeed, the revered inspector will be here after you've all had a 10-minute breather. This will allow you some time to discuss what you have seen so far and consider who killed the headmaster. But remember, there's still much more to come. Act 2 will begin shortly. Thank you.
Following Mr. Savage's distressed phone call, I ascertained that you 6 people were the only ones present at Berrigan Tough Private School this afternoon. An afternoon where a vile murder occurred. Correct? It is now my job to ascertain exactly what happened, when, and by whom. The murder itself appears to be quite a perplexing one. A dead body, hunched over a desk inside the first floor room, strangled by a hair ribbon. So, who knew Mr. Rex would be in here? Who had access to this room? How did they enter? And with the door locked on the inside, how did they manage to leave? Who do the ribbon and the bunch of keys left dangling in the lock belong to? Why are there no signs of a struggle? And what has been taken from that filing cabinet? So many questions, and so few answers, yet. What I will say is that due to the incredibly complex and macabre nature of the crime, I suspect that 2 of you colluded. I will confirm this in due course. Can I request that no one enters or leaves the school grounds without my permission? Do I make myself clear?
Perfectly clear, sir. The sooner the detested killer is found and hoisted up onto the creaky gallows, the better. I will avail myself.
Mr. Savage, I'd prefer it if you'd leave the investigation, and indeed the flamboyant acting, to me. I now intend to speak to you all in here in private. Now, who was the last person who admits to seeing Mr. Rex alive?
Not be me, Detective November, but myself and Mr. Rex. You were mauling him right to the end, weren't you? You husband stealer! That's why you run the badminton court, slapping on makeup, desperately trying to impress on the other little games teacher.
I say, steady on, ladies. By the way, what does Neanderthal mean?
Control yourselves. That sort of behaviour will get us nowhere. Miss Lemon, as Mr. Rex's personal secretary, I believe I'd like to speak to you first. Could the rest of you wait outside this study calmly until you're called? Miss Lemon, please sit. Miss Lemon, it's impossible for me to ignore the allegations made against you. Would you like to explain your relationship with Mr. Rex?
Well, I was his personal secretary, but also much more than that. I don't think it's much of a secret that he was something of an item. Romantically, I mean. His wife didn't understand him. Ophelia Rex broke Montgomery into my arms. She didn't realise that being a headmaster demanded full-time attention. It was a high-pressure job. When Monty needed his kindness and affection, she wasn't there. So I took over gladly. I'm a little emotional.
Of course. So, you were with him on the afternoon, just before his death?
Oh yes, there was a small matter of freeing up his study window. Once that had been seen to by a Jim, our caretaker, Monty and I took Starbull's fortune and then let it go to our private place. He wanted to be alone. We used to rendezvous in the French department storeroom. However, we'd only got a few paces down the hall when we met Mrs. Rex. It seemed like she was waiting for us. Ophelia was in one of her theatrical moods. She demanded that Monty return here to his office. She was hysterical. She wouldn't take no for an answer. Her tirade upset Monty. He said he felt dizzy, so he left his phone and headed back in here alone. It was the last time I saw him alive.
Brave, Miss Lemon, be brave. Now, you alleged that Mrs. Rex was romantically linked with Mr. Savage, the PT master.
The way she slobbered over him made me feel nauseous. She loved Brute almost as much as he loved himself. That's games teachers for you. When she drove poor Monty away, God rest his soul. They used to lock themselves in the gymnasium together. They caused all of this with their unseemly behaviour. She wanted Brute at any cost.
So, you think that Mrs. Rex is capable of murder?
Undoubtedly. This very morning I heard her scream, "Sometimes I could murder you. I really could." Right here in this office. She's a callous, cold-hearted witch.
See. Now, being his personal secretary, you'll be informed about the running of the school. Was there anything bothering Mr. Rex?
Finance. Monty tried to keep it a secret, but the school was in difficulty. He was so worried to have to cut back on staffing. He was constantly being hounded by Colonel Frobisher. You see, Mr. Savage and Miss Forbes Marshall were constantly conspiring together. Colonel Frobisher's our head of governance.
Apparently, he just arrived to assess the situation and hear his side of the story. Sorry, what was the outcome?
Well, I think the Colonel wanted to get rid of Mr. Smith, the new science teacher. But Monty intended to ask James Tonic, our school caretaker. Not that James was, well, not the brightest, a bit incompetent if you received my email. He'd like to have got rid of Brute Savage, but that would have proved more problematic.
I see. Were Tonic, Savage or Smith aware of Mr. Rex's intentions?
I don't think any of them knew anything, but I'm sure they had a strong suspicion. Mr. Rex was not what you'd call candid. I'm afraid he took out his frustrations on his staff members. But he's not the only head teacher to do that. It's quite common, apparently.
I can believe that. Thank you, Miss Lemon. You've been very helpful. Is there anything else you can think of?
It's just a small matter, actually. I don't know how important it is. I saw Miss Ford Marshall steal Monty's keys from this desk when his back was turned.
I see. And which area were these keys used for?
Well, every area, really. Every lock on the school premises. This room, filing cabinet, for instance. Any individual members of staff had keys for their own areas. But other than that, Mr. Rex was the only person to have keys to every lock around the school.
Thank you, Miss Lemon. Very interesting. I think I'd like to question Harry Smith next, if you could send him in. One final question. Can you confirm that when you saw Mrs. Rex this afternoon, she was wearing this hair ribbon?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Take a seat, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, after seeing Miss Lemon so distressed, it strikes me that you look surprisingly calm.
Yes, this is true, I suppose. I mean, it's a terrible thing that happened, but Mr. Rex was never particularly kind to me. I come to believe that he was considering giving me a sack. To me, he was very cruel.
I see. So, you would benefit from him being killed.
Well, yes, possibly. But I could never kill anyone. Remember, I'm a peaceful man. I hate killing of all kinds. That is why I left. That is why I left my glasses. Of earlier by accident. I'm forgetful, you see. I'm sure, but I saw something of use. Go on. Well, as I was walking across the yard carrying some supplies at about 1 o'clock, I noticed two people carrying a ladder. This ladder was then propped up against the wall to Mr. Rex's study, to this window here. And I'm sure I saw a figure climbing into this room. Perhaps it was the killer.
What did this figure look like?
I can't be sure. Without my glasses, I'm short-sighted. But I guess a female, one climbing up the ladder and another female holding the ladder. Two female, billowy dresses. But I'm not sure. Sorry, it was blurred.
If you're so visually challenged, why didn't you have your glasses on?
I forgot them. I was busy doing experiments. And I forgot to put them on. You know, the typical absent-minded scientist.
I see. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but...
Gesundheit!
Thank you very much. Mr. Smith, there seems to be an unpleasant smell following you about. Is it sulphur?
Sorry, it is indeed, Inspector. I've been moving my supplies around in the labs, getting ready for next term. And the portal shattered. I'm sorry. I would have washed, but I didn't know there would be a murder this afternoon.
Didn't you?
No!
Mr. Smith, at this moment in time, it looks like Mr. Savage will be taking over as headmaster. How do you feel about that?
Happy, very happy indeed. I feel he's a fair man. I have an enormous amount of respect for him. He's a good teacher, a strong teacher. That's what I mean.
And have you and Mr. Savage ever spoken about this?
No.
Did you speak to Mr. Savage at all today?
No, I didn't. I didn't go anywhere near his office today either.
I see. And I don't suppose you know whether Mrs. Rex was wearing this ribbon in her hair today.
No, Inspector, no. I don't recognize it at all.
Mr. Smith, you may show yourself out and ask Mr. Tonic to come in. But before you do, I'd like you to pass me the bunch of keys Mr. Rex left for you. Now, Mr. Tonic. I understand, Tonic, that Mr. Rex was considering terminating your employment. How long have you worked at Berrigan Duff?
5 years, I think.
Enough time to get to know each other. You didn't get on.
He was too hard on me, sir. He used to pick on me. Mend this. See to that. There are some chairs that need moving. Always chairs. I did as best as I could. But caretaker is the worst job in any school. Long hours with no thanks. I'm not going to do this forever though. I have dreams, you see.
Dreams?
Ice cream, sir. Everybody loves ice cream. I'm sure you do.
Mr. Tonic, I'm not sure that...
Of course you do. Well, as soon as I can afford it, I'm going to have my own shop called Frederico's with an exotic Italian theme. Ah, mamma mia, a great big scoop di chocolate with the inspector. What do you think?
I think, Tonic, that I'm beginning to find you a little flat.
Now you listen, Inspector.
No! You listen! This is a murder inquiry. I haven't got time for ridiculous play acting.
Of course. Sorry.
Keys, Tonic. I believe, as caretaker, you have a bunch of keys that will allow you access to every area around school.
Both myself and Mr. Rex have a set. There's nothing unusual about that. It's my job. I had to complete duties all over the site at all times of the day or night. In fact, while I was checking the site this afternoon, I came across something very strange.
Carry on.
As I was passing the gymnasium, I found a ladder abandoned there, inside the changing room of all places.
Interesting. I saw it myself as I searched around. Are there other ladders?
No, we only have one. It's normally kept in the greenhouse. I saw it there this morning.
And is the greenhouse usually locked?
No, it's one of the only buildings that's always open. I mean, who would want to steal a few plants? Despite our chrysanthemums looking splendid, there's nothing of value there.
I may have to take another little trip down to see them again. Now then, this ladder, is it heavy? Would it take more than one person to lift?
It's solid oak. You need 2 people, definitely.
Thank you, John. You've been very helpful. Before you go, can you let me have your bunch of keys?
They're in my workshop. I'll just go and get them for you.
Make sure you do. Could you send Savage in on your way?
Mr. November, sir, I just feel that you ought to know. It's meant to be a secret. I shouldn't really tell.
This is a murder inquiry.
I promise not to tell. But when I came to fix that window this afternoon, Miss Forbes Marshall was in here. And when I approached her, she attacked me. She pinned me down, like an expert. And earlier, I overheard Mr. Savage saying he'd deal with Mr. Rex, good and proper. Those are good secrets, aren't they? I like secrets.
They are indeed, Tonic. I like secrets too. But I make sure that secrets don't stay secrets for very long.
Did you want me, sir?
Down. Things are going rather well for you, aren't they? Acting headmaster of Berrigan Duff School, the power, the prestige, the honour. Not to mention all those society functions, the strawberries by the lake, the first 11 hitting cork with the willows, and Mrs. Rex lessons ugly at the side of the new headmaster.
As if.
Things are not quite running to plan, are they, sir? The great smell of brute is beginning to wear a little thin. A murder investigation, illicit assignations involving a dead man's wife. What? Fingers pointing, tongues wagging, the hangman waiting to ply his grisly trade. Things have become quite messy. What did you mean when you threatened to deal with Mr. Rex good and proper?
What? You can't be serious. I simply meant Rexy would be relieved of his position, nothing more than he deserved. Alright, November. No, I'm no angel. Yes, I was dreaming of social standing, but I'm not a murderer. This school is in a mess, and I thought I could do a better job of getting us out of it than Montgomery Rex. But that's all I'm guilty of. Well, that and a few minor underhanded tactics. I mean, Ophelia Rex, give me some credit. I can't blame him for finding me so damnably attractive. Do you honestly think I'd be seen dead with that neurotic, self-absorbed trollop? I admit that I strung her along to get information about the school. But did I love her? Never. If she thinks that there's anything between us, that's come from her fanciful, deluded imagination. I'd feel sorry for her if she wasn't so miserably pathetic.
Will you tell me where you were this afternoon?
I was in the gym with Ophelia all afternoon playing badminton. I think it's time to get rid of her. She's becoming a nuisance.
Get rid of her?
Figure of speech, Inspector!
They trip so easily from your tongue, don't they, Savage? So, you were nowhere near this room earlier.
That's what I said.
And Mrs. Rex will corroborate this?
She will.
And do you know anything about a ladder appearing inside the gymnasium?
What?
A ladder!
Is this a joke?
Do I look like I'm laughing?
No, Inspector. I didn't see a ladder.
Really, Mr. Savage? One might think you were never there at all. Can you tell me who has a key for the gym?
Well, other than the 2 schoolmaster copies, just myself. It's my area, but I always keep it locked whenever I'm not there. Oh, Ophelia as well, I'm afraid. And I thought we could use the facilities easier if she had his copy too. I asked Harry Smith to make me a spare last month. He's good at that kind of thing. Fifi and I play a lot of badminton, you see. It keeps her occupied and out of my rather fetching hair.
I couldn't bear to be out there without you. I hope you've told the inspector everything. Everything. You see, Inspector, we're in love. We have been for a long time. I know it's horrible about Montgomery. That relationship died several years ago. Philip 11 is all to that. A scheming floozy. Brute and I have a new life ahead of us. We're planning to get married, aren't we, Brute? Brute.
I don't know quite what to say.
Mrs. Rex, I get the feeling that we're both being lied to.
Oh, Brute, tell him it's all true. Tell him we're in love. Brute! Brute! Why, you double-dealing hypocrite! How could you do this to me? How could you?
Mrs. Rex, Mr. Savage claims he was with you in the gymnasium all afternoon. Is this true?
Oh, I see things very clearly now. You just used me, didn't you, Brute? I was just a dispensable stepping stone on your ambitious crusade, onwards and upwards into the headmaster's nicely aired study. Not to mention the rather substantial wage packet that goes along with it. You're no better than the naughty little boys who scrawl rude messages onto the examination desk. Well, Inspector, we were in the gym this morning, but definitely
Not there this afternoon.
Ophelia.
And we also spent a short time in here. Didn't Harry Smith say how he caught us snooping around, stealing files from that filing cabinet there? And later on, I was sent like a dutiful mistress to ensure Montgomery returned here instead of sneaking off with Miss Lemon. Isn't that so, Headmaster Savage? You wanted to know exactly where he was. You're nothing but a slack-jawed, lying pig!
Phoebe! I most certainly do not have a slack jaw. Look, I really am. I never meant... What's the use?
Mr. Savage, you will make sure that the files you took are passed back to me, won't you?
Of course. You can have them straight away.
Mrs. Rex, this must have come as a bit of a shock.
I know PE teachers have a reputation for being insensitive and overbearing, but for once, I thought I'd found one that was different.
Mrs. Rex, why do you think Savage was in this room this afternoon, snooping around?
I'm not totally sure. He's always had it in for Montgomery, ever since he was promoted ahead of him. Staff rivalries never disappear, sir. They just ferment and fester. There was never much love between them. And with the school struggling, Ruth's constantly been looking to manipulate Colonel Frobisher. Perhaps even stringing me along was part of his plan to victimize Montgomery.
Could Savage be our killer?
A few moments ago, I would have said no, yet he totally fooled me. He's a very good actor, Inspector.
I beg to differ, Mrs. Rex.
All I can say is there's more to him than meets the eye.
You just said that Mr. Savage asked you to ensure that Montgomery was back inside this study all afternoon. How did you do that?
I didn't. When I accosted the guilty pair on their way to the French department, Montgomery said he was feeling unwell. He left the pair of us and headed back here of his own accord. I came to check later on. The door was locked. I knocked, but didn't hear a response.
Do you have a key to this room, Mrs. Rex?
I'm afraid not, Inspector. My husband kept me as far away from the running of Berrigan Tough School as possible. I think we both know the reason why.
And how upset were you when you found out about your husband's relationship with Miss Lemon?
I was absolutely livid at first. But then I made the mistake of turning to brute for comfort. He took advantage of my vulnerability. He charmed his way into my affections with his winning smile, pearly white teeth. He took my mind off things for a while. It's him I could murder now, Inspector. As a figure of speech. All that badminton. What a waste.
You are aware the hair ribbon, the murder weapon found wrapped around the neck of the victim, belongs to you. Tell me about it.
It's my favourite hair ribbon, and I was wearing it today. But the last time I saw it, when I changed for badminton. You don't think I play sport in clothes as stylish as these, do you?
I'm not a good judge of fashion.
Yes, I can tell. No offence. Not that Brooke showed up. I just sat in the gym, waiting for him. When he didn't show up, I changed back into these clothes. I never even noticed my ribbon was gone. Until I saw Montgomery lying there with it round his neck. Look, it's no good, Inspector. I can't do this anymore. Sorry.
Just one last question, Mrs. Rex. You climbed up a ladder recently?
Have you seen the craftsmanship on these shoes, Inspector?
Sick of waiting out there. And before you ask, no, I don't climb ladders either. You realise that you're in November. Dangerous times. One murder has been committed in this study, and I've got good reason to believe that the killer will strike again.
Aha! The studies. Our day, Miss Forbes Marshall. The great Sherlock Holmes. There are certain similarities between one of Agatha Christie's mysteries and our situation, don't you think?
You dazzle me with your misplaced sense of irony, November. Look, I don't think you understand what you're dealing with. This whole incident may prove to be one which undermines national security. What's happening here at Berrington Tuff is top secret. I believe Colonel Frobisher has recently arrived. I need to speak to him urgently. He's the one who's authorised to divulge relevant information.
I'd prefer it if you leave the gathering of information to my discretion. So, can you tell me why you took Mr. Rex's keys from this desk earlier today, and why you used them to open this filing cabinet? Can you also tell me if you've been in the gymnasium recently?
Why don't you tell me, November? You seem to have all the answers.
As you wish. I think there was something you were after. Something not necessarily connected with Berrington Tuff School.
Bravo, November.
Did you find what you are looking for, Miss Forbes Marshall? And was it something you would be prepared to kill for?
Oh, now you're being ridiculous. With a bit of real detective work, you'll actually find you have no authority over me. November, if you don't mind, I'm going to go and lie down. I have another migraine coming on. You want to do something useful? Check up on James Tonic. He's an imbecile, play acting at his age. I even heard him say that if he lost his job, he'd kill Mr. Rex. Look into it and leave Harry Smith to me.
Miss Forbes Marshall, no one tells me how to run my own investigation. And for your information, it was of course Arthur Conan Doyle who wrote the Sherlock Holmes stories, not Agatha Christie.
Indeed.
You weren't officially appointed by the school, and you're obviously not an English teacher. So just who are you?
Drop it, November. Speak to the Colonel. He'll answer your questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Miss Forbes Marshall suggested, I do have a few things to look into. I admit, this is a very perplexing case. There's a lot of evidence for me to consider. Sets of keys and locked rooms, a hair ribbon, ladders, women's dresses, the filing cabinet, secrets and lies, a newly repaired window, school governors, chairs, scientific equipment, badminton, literature, cups of tea, the gymnasium, the school greenhouse, the French department storeroom, and then back to those crucial keys again.
Whilst Inspector November concludes his investigation, you have 30 minutes to complete yours. Your answer sheets will be collected before the start of Act 3. Inspector November will then review the clues. His present findings. Now, as they say, I am pleased and ready. The hot pot is ready to be served. We need to move this along. So can we have the vegetarian and the gluten-free people? You'll have a spotlight shone on you for being awkward. If you would go and collect your food first, please. And it's on the bar.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I trust that you used your break profitably. The murder, as you now realise, was straightforward to solve. A private word in the right ear, a couple of tests, Another tour of the murder site, and things quickly fell into place. Berrigan Tuft has revealed itself to be a hotbed of misguided lust, seething ambition, and tangled deceit. In that respect, Berrigan Tuft is not unlike most schools. No one present before me is totally innocent. All of you have been feverishly embroiled in your own selfish schemes, blissfully unconcerned about their impact on anyone else. And the two of you standing before me now, after Mr. Rex returned to his study early this afternoon, are guilty of killing the defenceless headmaster. But just who? Is it the ruthless deputy head? The unsettled, vengeful wife? The incompetent caretaker? The overly affectionate secretary? The detached science master? Or the combative English mistress?
Could you hurry things along, Inspector? It's just I need to speak to the Colonel about urgent school business.
Mr. Savage, I have no intention of hurrying whatsoever. Whether you will be attending to school matters ever again, we'll find out shortly. So, to business. I've had to take a lot into account. Our killers had to have a motive. They had to know that Mr. Rex would be in his study, alone this afternoon, immobile. They also had to be able to carry a heavy ladder across school and prop it up outside this window. A window which they knew was no longer jammed.
It was me that told the inspector that the ladder was heavy, that 2 people were needed to carry it.
2 of us work together. I get it, Tonic. It's simple. What do you want? The gold star?
Entry into this study was achieved via that window, a window which was subsequently left open as the killer exited the room. Crucially, the killer also locked the study door from the inside, allowing them sufficient time to conduct their sorry business using Ophelia's hair ribbon as a murder weapon.
I keep telling you, Inspector, I lost my hair ribbon in the gymnasium.
Then, there was the complicated matter of disposing of the evidence. But in its essence, the whole solution to this distasteful case revolves around keys. The crucial error made by today's culprits was to foolishly leave a bunch of keys dangling from inside of the locked door. But whose bunch of keys were they? And how did they get there? Mr. Rex was not in a possession of his own keys at the time, so he didn't lock himself in. Indeed, when we discover who left the keys dangling in that lock, we expose our killer.
I told you that there are only 2 full bunches of keys, Inspector. I know how the school runs intimately.
Getting intimate seems to be part of your job description, Savage. And you did have copies of individual keys made for you by Harry Smith.
Please believe me, I had no choice.
Oh, stop whining, all of you. This isn't some cheap school play. Look, Inspector, I only asked for copies of individual keys, not the whole bunch.
As the school's ladder is heavy, it could not be carried alone. Thus, there are 2 people connected to the murder of Montgomery Rex, as confirmed by Mr. Smith's sighting. 2 people in possession of one of only 2 bunches of keys.
Monty owned one of those bunches of keys.
And I have the other. And the caretaker, for goodness sake. I need it. This is ridiculous.
And you all enjoyed quite a game of pass the parcel with Mr. Rex's keys here this afternoon, didn't you? But enough conjecture. It's time to unmask the killers. Miss Barbara Forbes Marshall. It's quite apparent from your lack of knowledge of English literature that you're not an English teacher. In fact, you're not even Barbara Forbes Marshall at all. Although I like how the clue Marshall and your European travels link you to our military forces. Barbara, could you reveal your true identity? I clearly think of Colonel Frobisher, who was most anxious to help when he realised that Berrigan Duff School could become a scene of national scandal.
My name is Barbara. Barbara Q.
Barbara Q? Miss Q, you cause too much unnecessary smoke, by far. Could you tell us your real profession?
I work for the British government as a secret agent.
Mr. Tonic suspected that your combat skills were too developed, even for an English teacher. And it's no coincidence that a member of His Majesty's Secret Service just happened to join Berrigan Duff School 1 year ago, at precisely the same time as another member of staff. Miss Q, you were employed by Colonel Frobisher without Mr. Rex's approval to keep an eye on a certain science teacher, a Mr. Harry Smith, or should I say, Hans Schmidt. You still have traces of your German accent, Mr. Schmidt. Barbara, you are innocent of today's murder. Miss Q is far more concerned about neutralising the threat of German invasion than neutralising Montgomery Rex.
Correct, November. I apologise for being rude earlier. I'm working undercover investigating a mysterious German citizen who left his employment in a chemical warfare plant in Germany to seek employment in one of Britain's prestigious educational establishments. We felt Hans Schmidt might be a danger to our country. He used false papers and references in order to get his job at Berrington Tuff. It was his staff file that I was attempting to locate in order to check his credentials. I stole it from that filing cabinet this afternoon, using the keys that Montgomery had left on his desk. But I never took the bunch away though. It couldn't have been me who left the keys dangling in that lock. I simply found what I was after and then left.
So that is why I couldn't find the papers, Miss Marshall Hudson. Help me, Inspector. I ran away from the fatherland when I saw how my government were treating people. I'm a chemical scientist, but interested in science for good, not for. I'm a peaceful man, but I know they're after me. And I know I'm scared they'll track me down.
Which is why, Mr. Schmidt, Colonel Frobisher has arranged for you to work for the British government under complete protection. To monitor you was the reason the Colonel used his influence to get a job for Miss Q. He first needed to identify you, and then use his influence to remove you from your post. Oh, hush, hush, of course. In future, Schmidt, your talents will be utilised for a passive British venture.
Oh, wonderful! Wonderful! How can I ever thank you? I'm sorry that I lied to you, but Mr. Savage, he scared me! Who blackmailed me, you see? We're both in here this afternoon. He threatened me. That is why I lied to you. I'm sorry, I can't go back.
Mr. Schmidt, talk to me about keys.
Everybody wanted keys. Keys copying everybody, bullying, and threatening. Her Savage forced me to copy the gym key file last month.
But have that back with pleasure.
And her Rex and her Savage, they both demanded extra keys for this room and that filing cabinet there. But I could not do it for them. There were no extra keys. Without the equipment, I tried to tell him, but he shouted at me. I tried to tell him, without the equipment, I couldn't make any more keys. I pass the bunch of keys back to you, Inspector. Here, Rex's bunch of keys.
Indeed. Although you lied to me earlier, Mr. Schmidt, you are innocent of murder. You couldn't have left the keys in that lock, and you're far too terrified and short-sighted to be an effective killer.
Oh, thank you! Thank you!
Which now leaves us with just 4 suspects. The unpredictable caretaker, the devious wife, the marriage-wrecking secretary,
Amelia Rex were more attentive. Monty would never have strained.
or the vain, self-seeking deputy head.
Steady on, Inspector. I'm not self-seeking. But with a face like this, who could blame me for being a trifle vain?
But her savage also took a fire out of that cabinet. Why did he do that and collect my equipment?
I'm afraid that Mr. Savage, like most deputy heads, is ruthlessly driven by ambition. He was prepared to cheat, bully, blackmail, and scheme his way into becoming headmaster. He manipulated the affections of an honest woman in the process. Yet he, despite his faults, is also no murderer. He had his own keys to his own area, the gymnasium, but he never had access to a bunch of keys that allowed him to lock up this room.
Perhaps I will soon know, Inspector.
The files Savage took from this filing cabinet were private documents related to school finances. He was hoping to show Colonel Frobisher how ineffective Montgomery Rex was. No sooner had he found the vital evidence he required than he rang the Colonel and demanded he arrive at Berrigan Cliff immediately.
Apologies for begging the truth, Inspector. My meeting with the Colonel was very important.
For you, perhaps. But my husband died here this afternoon. You're really insufferable. Getting me to make sure Montgomery was out of the way while the Colonel secretly arrived. Brute never had any intention of turning up for our game. Badminton's not much fun on your own.
He's a devious brute, no doubt. Yet, getting Mr. Schmidt to hide science equipment in his quarters to make the school look under-resourced was perhaps a little extreme. Savage, you lied, cheated, bullied, cajoled, manipulated, and terrorized. And by possessing such loathsome qualities, the Colonel feels you have all the credentials required to make an excellent headmaster. Congratulations.
Thank you, Inspector.
Oh, Mr. Savage. That means that I'll get to be your secretary. Might I say how devilish handsome you're looking today?
You may indeed, Miss Lemon. Well observed.
I think your zest is a little premature, Lemon.
Surely, the murder of Amelia Rex, strangling her cheating husband with her hair ribbon, in order to be the man she thought she loved. A man who took advantage of her pitiful, feeble nature.
Actually, of all the subjects and suspects, I feel that Ophelia Rex is the most innocent. Having had her husband cruelly stolen from her, all she was guilty of was the misguided love of the wrong man. Yes, Mrs. Rex, you were uptight and argumentative, but this was in response to your situation. Your husband, lavishing affection on Miss Lemon, certainly never intended for you to have your own key to this room.
I should have known. I loved Montgomery. I just couldn't accept that he didn't love me. His mind had been poisoned by that manipulating secretary of his.
Indeed it had. So, let's return to what lies at the heart of this case. Keys. Montgomery's bunch of keys passed this afternoon from his pocket onto his desk. Then to Miss Forbes Marshall, they were spotted by Brute and finally found their way into Harry Smith's pocket. And Smith returned them to me personally. They're here.
So if you have Montgomery's keys, the only other bunch in existence innocents, the ones that must have been left in that lock earlier this afternoon,
belong to James Tonic, our school caretaker. And they call me a swine.
You are a swine!
Philip the Lemon. By a process of elimination, you are partly responsible for the murder of a man who trusted you. A man who turned to you for comfort. And all to protect your co-conspirator, your little brother, James.
It's a lie. Tell him it's a lie, sis.
Unfortunately, I've done my research, Tommy. You mentioned earlier that you had a sister. Yourself and Miss Lemon.
or Pips, as he called her in my presence.
Both started to work at Berrigan Tuft at exactly the same time. 5 years ago. More than coincidence, I felt. Older sister, protecting her volatile younger brother. Tonic even reacted violently to me today.
And me.
I located your orphanage, and it seems there's quite a history of instability. Big sister, constantly protecting troubled brother.
Idiot! I told you to keep out of trouble and to get enough money for your stupid ice cream shop.
Leave me alone. You've always bossed me about, even as a kid.
It would seem that mealtimes were especially problematic at the orphanage. Mealtimes when ice cream was being served.
Because in the others, they wouldn't listen to me. They wouldn't listen to the great Federico.
Oh, shut up, Jim. There isn't, nor ever was, any great Federico.
You said yourself, Tony, that you nearly had enough money. So how upset you must have been when Miss Lemon told you, milking her specially gained influence with Mr. Rex, that you were to be dismissed. She reacted all too strongly to the prospect of her little brother being fired, just as things were looking up. Lemon had no romantic interest in Mr. Rex. She was just manipulating her position to pry into the running of the school.
It's always the school secretaries who know everything that's really going on in that school.
Montgomery told Colonel Frobisher on the phone at the start that James Tonic was an easy person to axe. I mean, what does he do anyway? It's him who has to go. Lemon overheard this, and from that moment onwards, Mr. Rex's fatal date with destiny was sealed.
Tonic even admitted to me that if Mr. Rex took his job away from him before he'd saved up enough money for his shop, then he'll kill him.
At the earliest opportunity, he and his sister and deranged brother conspired. They executed a previously devised plan. Once they'd established that Mr. Rex would be alone all afternoon, both Lemon and Tonic acted quickly.
Ah, now I see it. Gin and tonic, lemon pips. How foolish to choose such silly names. Anyone with half a brain cell could have worked out these two were connected.
Sorry, I've not quite worked that one out.
I didn't want to hurt anybody. I just wanted to play being Federico.
But you did hurt someone, Tonic, and also dressed up in the process. In this study, you overheard that Savage and Mrs. Rex will be in the gym this afternoon. Using your own bunch of keys, the ones your sister lied about you having, you decided to go for a snoop around. How lucky that Mrs. Rex had accidentally dropped her hair ribbon in the changing rooms.
A ribbon that we'd all seen her wearing.
Indeed, it made a convenient murder weapon and created a distraction. You even tried to blame Mrs. Rex and Mr. Savage yourself when I questioned you.
Both of them working together, but who was the killer?
The actual murder itself required teamwork. The operation needed brains, and brains are hardly Tonic's strong point. Help was dutifully supplied by the overprotective older sister. Is this your book, Lemon? Intoxicating Herbs.
I've never seen it before in my life. Strange, because I saw you reading it.
Even more strange was the fact that some of the most powerfully intoxicating plants in here and also planted in the school greenhouse, right next to where a ladder was recently taken. James brought my attention to these himself. Indeed, some of these plants were removed recently, and if my tests prove conclusive, their juices were added by you, Lemon, to the cup of strong tea that you served to Mr. Rex. No wonder he had to return so suddenly to his office this afternoon.
So, Montgomery wasn't ill, he was drugged.
I don't suppose it mattered who he was staggered to. Tonic had all the keys.
Arguing with the feeler in the hallway was just convenient, and oh, so enjoyable.
And with Mr. Rex out for the count, it was easy for both of you to acquire the school's ladder and station it outside this window. Tonic knew the window would open because he'd just mended it.
But who? Who is the real killer? We all want to know!
That's easy. Miss Philippa Lemon is scared of heights. So, it must have been Brother James who climbed up with murder on his mind. Once in here, it was simple for him to lock this door from the inside, using his own caretaker's keys, and conduct his sorry business on the drug headmaster using Ophelia's hair ribbon.
There were no signs of a struggle because there was no struggle.
Hey, Miss Barbara Q! You are on fire!
I proved conclusively that the bunch of keys that were mistakenly left behind the door had to belong to Jim Tonic. That's why he was unable to show them to me earlier. They weren't in your workshop, as you said. They were hanging on the inside of this door.
Do I have to do everything for you, Jimmy? You brainless simpleton.
Don't shout, Bit. I hate it when you shout.
But the saddest thing is that this sorry act was conducted with Jimmy disguised in his ice cream vendor's smock. It was you, Mr. Tonic, who Mr. Schmidt saw climbing down the ladder from this office, dressed not in a billowy dress, but in a smock. Schmidt thought it was two women he saw.
I did not have my glasses, you see!
I searched your rooms using the keys Mr. Schmidt gave me. I believe this is the gown in question.
Yeah, that is it! That is what I saw!
How dare you! You dare to touch the clothes of the great Federico! I have spit on you and you don't follow me!
Mr. Savage, you prevent Tonic from spitting on anyone. And then it was just a question of you using your keys again to drop the ladder into the open gym to try and frame our sporting lovebirds. James Tonic, I'm arresting you for the murder of Montgomery Rex, and you, Philippa Lemon, his sister, as his accomplice. Barbara, that's your cue to apprehend Miss Lemon.
Certainly, this is a line of work I'm much more comfortable with. Although I feel combat training would benefit any teacher.
You think you're so clever, don't you? I've always said November to be a cold, cruel month.
There's no need to be quite so bitter, Lemon.
Federico will have revenge!
They say that revenge is a dish best served cold, but this is the first time I've had it promised with chocolate sauce and sprinkles. Miss Q, Headmaster Savage, would you do me the honour of escorting these murderers out of this room and into the arms of British justice?
Well done, Inspector, well done. You deserve a stiff drink. Is there any particular tipple that I can bring for you?
That's very kind of you. I think I'll have a refreshing gin. No, on this occasion I think I'll give it a miss.
With a murder mystery finally solved by the good Inspector November, it is my turn to announce the results of tonight's mystery. The winners of the murder mystery quiz. Get these right now. The murder mystery quiz are the top hatters.
Very impressive.
Now the winner of Who Killed the Headmaster comedy answer sheet was Clueless. I reckon the culprit was Savage because he wanted privacy of his own office to look after his teeth or hair. So if somebody would come up from now, just as an aside, for some of the commentary entries, Mr. November, he's my dad and he murdered the show. The winners came up with Brute Savage. The headmaster criticised Brute's new brogues and commented, "You could never fill my shoes, son." And Where the Fox Hat came up with Harry Smith. 1 minute he's German, then he's Indian, then he's Welsh. Now this is quite long. The top hatter's culprit was Pippa Lemon. Pippa poisoned Montgomery with poison plants she was growing in her garden. Pippa picked a peck of poisoned pepper. A peck of poisoned pepper Pippa probably picked. And Pippa picked a peck of poisoned pepper. She probably kept it in the professor's pot. Her accomplice was gin and tonic. He was her lemonade. So quite a good one, sir. Now, the big one, the winner. This belongs to Clueless. They came with, the name of the murder is James Nigel Tonic. Revenge for menial job and being put on. Name of accomplice, Philippa Lemon, helping her brother. The reasoning behind this, James and Philippa are brother and sister, as she cared for him, Jim, at one point, both in the orphanage together. Pippa was close to Rex and could pass on information. James suspended he was losing a job, so he had plans and saved money for this. Now they're the winner because we had 2 or 3 following the same lines, but we decided that Clueless were the winners of Who Did It. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the evening. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember that the prize winners in the raffle collect the prizes at the side of the bar. Thank you very much.
being here. It's been a marvellous turnout. I can't remember the last time we had a big turnout like this, so it's absolutely terrific. I want to thank you all for coming along and participating so fabulously and hopefully enjoying yourselves. Thank you very much, players. Thank you very much, you. But this was also advertised, and some people, no, there's quite a few people who are not in this, which is quite useful. We have a 200 club in the parish, and every year we draw the big prize. So if you've been in the 200 club for 12 months, we draw the big prize, and tonight we're drawing a prize for £800. You see, you'll all want to be in it next year. I reckon though, if the winner's not here, there's only 100 of us. You see where I'm going with this? You know, honestly. Right, so hands up if you're not in the 200 club. And if you're in the parish and you're not in the 200 club, put your hand up again. If you're not in it, that's alright. Come on, darling. We'll draw the winning number for £800. Mine's number 78. I've nothing up my sleeves. Just the one number, put it in the hand. I'll just replace it with mine. Oh, crikey. Number 160. Number 160. Just remember that number. 160. Sorry. You can see we're quite technical. Alright. 160. Oh, we're near, we're close. 160. 160. Oh, and the winner is, I know this is pretty an anticlimax unless you're here. It's a lady called Mrs. Brenda Truelove. Thank you very much. You've been great. Round of applause. Sorry, three notices. First of all, the summer ball, which we're having here on the June the 9th. The other one is top hats. You've had the leaflets on the table. When is it on? June the 9th. I guess something. Thank you very much. And also we have a fabulous show coming on called Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat.